Shalom. Shalom. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So now, what is the land of milk and honey? Okay? The land of milk and honey is the land over there that's called Israel. Okay? The land of milk and honey is the land over there that's called Israel. Now, I didn't get into detail because what I wanted to do is I didn't want to focus this on that necessarily. If I could have put it all together, but then again, this message would have been forever. And I'm just going to go right through this message. Now, I know I'm making a mistake attempting to stack my little message against Saturday night. I didn't do this on purpose, okay? I thought tomorrow, Sunday, I'd like to go out with the family. And I didn't want to have the burden of this message tomorrow. So I decided to do it tonight, stacking my message against Saturday night. Nobody will probably watch this message tonight. You all go out and have a good time. There's people that's right now starting to have a good time. So, enjoy yourself. There's nothing wrong with going out on a Saturday evening after the Shabbat and enjoying life, because nobody says that you have to be, somebody that doesn't enjoy life at all. You got to go out and have a good time. Okay? Stay out of trouble, but have a good time. So now I'm gonna kind of go run right through this message. All right? I'm not going to run right through it so that's absolutely boring. I do want you all to, enjoy it somewhat. And most of you, like I said, probably won't be watching it till tomorrow afternoon anyway. But that's okay. Most of you all aren't doing anything on Sunday either anyway. Okay, so what is the land of milk and honey that the Bible speaks of? Now, this message is also, it's directed toward the younger generations. The younger generation. And many of you have, even some of you adults, some of you who are in religion, and some of you who are non-believers, many of you have heard of the land of milk and honey. And many of you are not too sure what it is. Well, it's actually the land over there in the so-called Middle East. There's really no such thing as the Middle East. Okay, it's really all Africa. Because Egypt is in Africa, and Egypt borders Israel. So we know that Egypt is an African state. So by that being so, then how could there be really a such thing as the Middle East? That's just confusion. It's just to get you all to not understand your heritage. So the land of milk and honey is the land called Israel. It's the state of Israel, okay? And it doesn't belong to the imposters, the pale-skinned imposters that are over there right now, right? Now, what I want you all to do, whom all have not seen the movie, The Ten Commandments, okay? First, let me give you all a description of the state of Israel over there that actually belongs to the black people of the Bible and not the imposters that inhabit the land today. Israel is located allegedly in the so-called well, it's not allegedly, but in the so-called Middle East, along the eastern coastline of the Mediterranean Sea, bordered by Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. It lies at the junction of three continents: Europe, Asia, and Africa. Okay? So, really, it's in Africa. All of that is actually Africa. The entire Middle East actually belongs to the continent of Africa. It's all Africa. It was Africa 5,500 years ago. It's Africa now. Okay? But, for you younger folks, if you haven't seen the movie, listen carefully. For you younger folks, if you haven't seen the movie, The Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston, I need you to go watch it. Now, I need you to now. Why? Because it's the best movie right up to date concerning the Ten Commandments, unless there's a so-called African American movie that's came out recently. Because certainly I would have put you on to that. But I don't know anything. So if anyone knows of anything recent and it's starring black people, I want to apologize and let me know, because I haven't seen it. But I'm an old school guy, and many people my age, no matter your religion, you've seen the movie The Ten Commandments starring Charlton Heston. No matter your religion, and no matter your ethnicity, and no matter whom you are, I want you to, the older folks, I want you to show that to your younger folks. And if you're younger, I want you to go and watch this movie yourself. Now, it's bordered black and white. It's not in black and white. It's not in black and white. Well, they have it in color now, and they have a redigitized version, if I said that correctly. It's revamped, so it's a lot more exciting than it was back then. And I want you all to watch that movie and picture everybody in the movie as black. I'm going to repeat that. I want you all to watch that movie, and I want you to picture everybody, or imagine everybody in the movie is black, and then watch it. Okay? Now, let's open up the lesson. Who are the black people today? Once again, who are the black people today? Okay? So, once again, who are the black people today? And this message is for everybody. It's for any and everyone. Okay? I want you to listen to this message so that you all can come out of the doctrines that you're in and come back to the true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Okay. Let me go right on. So the first segment, I'm going to skip that. The first segment is forgot. The first segment is forgot. Okay? And, well, I'm sorry. The title of this message is forgot. I'm sorry. The title of this message is forgot. Let's open up with Exodus chapter 3. Let us open up with Exodus chapter 3. Let us open up with Exodus chapter 3. And we're going to start with verse 14. Exodus chapter 3, and we're going to start with verse 14. And it reads, And Elohim said to Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. And God said moreover, or Elohim said moreover to Moses. So he said to him moreover, so even more importantly, he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahuwah, Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of God, and the Elohim of the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. Now, I don't want to lose track of y'all here. What's going on here? And Elohim said to Moses, God is talking to Moses, Christ is talking to Moses. He said, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt you say unto the children, thus shalt you say unto all these Negroes, thou shalt you say unto all these black people, I am hath sent me unto you. And Elohim said moreover unto Moses. So more importantly, he said more importantly to Moses. Thus, or additional, he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, also Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather and then he's telling Moses, go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, meaning the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, appeared unto me. Go tell them, Moses, go tell these black people that I appeared unto you, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. Go tell Moses, this is Yah talking, Christ told Moses, go tell these Negroes that I appeared unto you, and that I am seeing what's happening to you, that I see all the atrocities that are happening to you here in Egypt. Now, the reason why I wanted you all to go watch the movie The Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston. For those who haven't seen it, most likely if you're my age or even a little younger, you might have seen it. But for you younger folks, 35 and beneath, you need to go watch this movie. The Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston. If you drink wine, drink a little bit of wine. If you don't drink wine, that's fine. I no longer drink, but just in case you do, and it's because it's a long movie, but you'll enjoy it. The reason why I wanted you to watch this movie is because what you need to understand is, just as we Negroes are here today in America and in the other countries of the rest of the world, right? We are strangers. Well, in Egypt was the same way. Now we haven't gotten into the climax of our slavery here in the America is considered modern day Egypt. So we are in spiritual Egypt today. America is in spiritual Egypt today. The things that our forefathers underwent when they were 5,500 years ago, during the time of Moses, was a slavery. Now many of us don't feel like we're in a slavery right now. Now we're not in a physical slavery. We're not under physical restraint. Not at the moment. More so of a psychological restraint, more so of a financial restraint, more so of an economic and psychological restraint, an economic and psychological slavery. Now, 400 years ago when slavery started, you know that we were in, our forefathers then were in all of the above. It was a physical slavery, an economic slavery, a psychological slavery. Okay? Well, over and over again for the past 5,500 years, as I've been telling you all, that black people have been in and out of these circumstances. Many of you right now are getting a time of peace, if that's what you want to call it. If that's what you want to call it. Somewhat of a time of peace. Okay, but we're in the days and times where these same atrocities that happened to our ancestors 400 years ago, and the same things that happened to our forefathers 5,500 years ago during the time of Moses, these atrocities are all about to come full circle. I don't know if they're going to come next year or even the year after next or even 2 or 3 years down the road. But I'm just trying to get everybody to be psychologically prepared psychologically prepared, and I want you all to understand whom we are according to the scriptures. Now, this is nothing against the rest of the nations. And as I say, if you're someone who is of another nation, I welcome you. Come, listen, and learn, and be reproved, and let the Spirit, the Ruach, take control of your mind and soul, so that you can walk in the ways of Yahuwah Elohim, and be a stranger grafted in to Yahushua HaMashiach, that you may live. So, 5,500 years ago, our people were in slavery similar to the slavery that started 400 years ago. Okay? Now, it's actually just the atrocities were the same. Now, he says, go and gather. So then he tells Moses, he says, don't worry, I see what's happening to you in this land of slavery. And then Christ says, and I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt, into the land of the Canaanites. Now, the land of the Canaanites is Israel. Back then, it was called Canaan. It wasn't called Israel. The name was changed from Canaan unto Israel. And there were multiple nations dwelling in the land of Israel back then. Those nations were the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and all of these people. They were lounging. They were dwelling in the land of milk and honey, which today is called Israel. Now, why am I telling you this? Because we all know, many of us know and understand the story of Yahuwah splitting the Red Sea, sending Moses, sending a deliverer, right? Sending him to the children of Israel, and then Christ, or Yahuwah, performed miracles through Moses, so that not only the children of Israel could see, but so that the other nations, so that the Egyptians could see as well. Now, though Moses was performing, Moses is not performing the miracles. Yahuwah is giving Moses the ability to perform these miracles. Christ is giving Moses the ability to perform these miracles. But many of you know the story that I'm talking about. I don't need to read it. Now, what you need to understand is that not only did the ancestors of us Negroes, not only did our ancestors witness these miracles of Moses, but so did the Egyptians. So even though you were watching the miracles, right, performed by Moses, right, many of our forefathers, we didn't believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You didn't believe in Yahuwah, just like you didn't believe in them today. Why? Because they were being performed by a man, or so seemingly. And that was one of the problems, that Moses was being used as a scapegoat, and that was one of the problems that was contributing to the disbelief in the children of Israel, not only in Egypt, but when they were rescued out of the land of Egypt, when Christ split the Red Sea, okay, when he split the Red Sea, and it was actually Moses that raised up his hand with the staff. And so when Moses raised up his hand and the sea split, niggas was like, damn, Moses, what in the world? But one of the things that I wanted you all to understand here is that Moses, of course, had a few conversations with the Almighty God of heaven and earth before he actually went into the land of Egypt and spoke all of these things to you black folks, to the ancestors of us black folks. So, one of the things that Christ wanted Moses to, wanted the children of Israel to understand is that he told Moses to tell them that I spoke with you. Now, if any man comes to all of you black people, or anybody for that matter, and say, I spoke with God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the true God, the true existing Elohim, who would believe him? Let me be honest with you, I wouldn't. Do you see the complication here? Okay, I'm going to keep on going, okay? See, let's just keep it real. You're going to look like a madman, which is one of the reasons why I go through the things that I go through with all of you Negroes today. Many of you Negroes across line, and even some of you Negroes that I come across in the street. One of the reasons why I go through what I go through with you Negroes is because I seem like I'm insane. I seem like I'm crazy. Because I'm not, because I've changed. And I'm not the same person that I used to be. I'm extremely humble now, and I have a specific love in my heart and a specific fear for the Most High Elohim. Why? Because I believe and know the existence of Yahuwah. Not only that, I know who he is. I know his identity. Okay? And I'm not going to lie to you all and I said I had an audible conversation with Yahuwah. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lie. Okay? I plan on it. I plan on doing so. But as all of us, I have to do a little cleaning up. And I got to do some fasting. I got to do all of these things, right? So, now. So, he told Moses, listen, I see everything that's going to happen. And I'm going to rescue, or tell Moses, I want you to go tell the Negroes that I'm going to rescue them from their slavery, from the Egyptians, and take them and put them into the land of milk and honey. Tell them that. Okay? Now, something I want all of you Negroes to understand about the black community. The neighborhoods. And I want you to listen very carefully. And actually, before I actually say what I want to say, I want all of you Negroes to understand something. Something that you all already understand. Get up, go to work. If you're an entrepreneur, get up, be an entrepreneur. If you are, doesn't matter who you are, you're an actor, you're a comedian, social media personality, rapper, if you work a 9 to 5, you work for the water department, if you work for the electric department, if you work for whomever, get up, go to work. Make your living, feed your family. Man and woman working, man working, woman working, whatever the case. Everybody get up, do what you got to do. Do it with integrity, do it with honesty. Don't try to step on other people. Do what you have to do to make a living for you and your folk. Carry about your life. Nobody's dismissing these things. These are things that we have to do. These are things that we must do. Just that simple. Okay? These are things that we must do. But I just want you all to have a mind frame, and I want you all to have a understanding that these neighborhoods that we live in, they don't belong to us. The houses don't truly belong to us. The vehicles don't truly belong to us. none of these things truly belong to us. And I'm going to say something that I said before. Right? My slanders have put out there that, I'm a man with plenty money, and they really don't know what they want to say. One moment they want to say I have plenty money, another moment they want to say I'm poor. Well, pretty soon I'm going to make it very clear to everybody. Because whatever I have, I'm going to transfer it. Which means I'm not going to have anything. The only thing I'm going to have is my beat up Toyota to get to A and B until that breaks down. I'm not going to have anything. I'm going to be a man that is going to be a vagabond. And that way, nobody will have to worry about anything. You won't have to worry about me being so-called more wealthy or than the next man, or you won't have to worry about me doing this or me. Pretty soon, I'm going to be completely out the way. And the only thing that's going to matter to me is preaching the word of Christ. That's it. Many of you are going to say, man, look at that old head right there, man. I remember we had a nice Crown Vic, man, and he had a nice such and such, man, and the old head used to wear Jordans and he used to have a fancy watch and all of that. Now, man, you just see old head sitting on the corner, man, walking on the corner, walking up and down the streets, man, blah, blah, this, that, and the third, man. So pretty soon, I'm going to be out of everybody's way. You won't have to worry about anything. The only thing I'm going to do is preach this word to whatever soul will listen. That's it. So pretty soon it won't even matter. You see, I explained to everybody that I had a different goal than all of you. Every last one of you. Alright? Now, so with that all being said, you have to understand that these neighborhoods, they don't belong to us. None of these things belong to us. Now, if you're somebody out there, you own some stuff, okay, make it work for you. Do what you got to do, but always be humble. Always be humble, and never, ever, ever, ever try to step on somebody to get to where you're going. Ever. Okay? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28. We're going to start at verse 64. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 64. I'm going to try to do this in two because I just don't feel like talking too long. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we're going to start at verse 64. And it reads, "And Yahuwah shall scatter thee among all people." Who is he talking about? Who is he talking about? Let's go to, for all of you that are, this actually is, I don't need to talk to the circumcision, because the circumcision is, we already know who we are, right? The circumcision, what is the circumcision? A lot of people, a young lady asked me through DM, I'll actually show it to you if you want to see it. She asked me through a DM. She said, "I hear you talking about some circumcised and She said, that's Old Testament. So what does that really matter?" So apparently she had some type of knowledge that when all the males were born, that they had to have their penis circumcised. Now, there's two types of circumcision. That's a physical circumcision, but there's also a spiritual circumcision. So the so-called spiritual circumcision would sort of be like people who know, black people who know that they're the children of Israel, and then that say that they follow the commandments of God. They preach the commandments of God. But we all know that many of you all don't don't practice what you preach. Some of you do. Some of you do. But none of you will ever get it perfect. Why? Because you're in the flesh. You can't get it perfect as a human being. Or shall I say as a man or a woman in the flesh. You're not going to be able to get it perfect. Forget about it. You can say whatever you want to say. Many of you still throw the gavel. A lot of you that throw the gavel, you're really just underhandedly throwing the gavel at me because you're paying attention to all the things being said and you're still paying attention to my life. You need to stop that. You women need to worry about your own husbands, you women in the circumcision, because all I see is going down the timeline is, scriptures about the things that you hear or that you hear me allegedly doing. Okay? So, you need to just focus on Christ. That's what all of you need to do, because the likelihood is all of you have some type of iniquity within you. Okay? So, who are black people? So I'm not reading this for those who are in the circumcision, meaning for those who are in the truth or think they're in the truth. I'm going to read this scripture. I'm going to read this excerpt. I'm not going to call it a scripture. I'm going to read this excerpt for those whom are in religion and for those who are non-believers, and for a lot of you Negroes out there. I'm going to go to the Honorable Quran, and we're going to go to the Surah. This is the Honorable Quran, and we're going to go to Surah 2:122. The Surah 2:122, and it reads, "Children of Israel, recall my favor which I bestowed upon you, and exalted you above all the nations of the world." Now, I don't know if the Honorable Quran is actually speaking about those white folk over there in Israel, but it shouldn't be, because we know that the Arabs, even the light-skinned Arabs who've been integrated with by Esau in previous times, okay, even they understand that those imposters over there in the land of Israel are false. I'll be right back.